have 2017 DHC Japan Invitational. This was it was a very, very interesting event. I think a noise happened in the crowd there or something. This was quite a while ago for me, a couple of years at this point. So I think something happened in the crowd, caught me off guard, able to stop. But this event, it was 32 games of round-robin match play, 32 players. Shota Kawazoe absolutely annihilated the field. I think he led by like 300 or 400 pins. So getting to this point, I qualified 5th, bowled Chris Barnes, and then Sean Rash, and then Jason Sterner. And I think I bowled like 250, 250, 240 or something of the sorts. It was, scores were really high that week, but I was able to perform on the TV show, which was really, really cool. So I had changed balls from the previous games, and it wasn't the right one. I thought it was going to be a good ball change. Ball hooked way early, and leaves the 310. Able to convert, not a very high percentage spare, but I was able to convert at that time. So this was such an up and down event for me. We had, like I said, we had 32 games, and Shota absolutely killed us all. But I had 300 games, several 279s. And I know Jeff and Phil were there. They were kind of egging me on as we were going, letting me know that 4 300 games was the record. So it would have been cool to maybe at least tie that, but it's okay. You know, there's more events. Maybe someday I'll be able to, tie or beat that record. But anyway, so getting into this position, bowling Shota, I was sitting here thinking, I'm going to have to bowl 240 or 250 plus to even have a chance at this. Shota's ball had been doing the perfect thing the entire time we were bowling this event. And I don't think that he threw any shots or mini shots that did much different than what you just saw in the last two. 10 straight back and ring 10. It's basically what he did for the event. He averaged some crazy amount, like 10 pins more than Sterner that qualified second. So again, I'm thinking, I got to get up here and strike. So I believe in this frame, I go back to the ball that I was using previous, which I was actually using a couple discontinued balls at the time. I had a Sigma Sting and an original Octane. And I threw the Octane almost the whole week. And you can see I go back to it here. And I was doing that just about the whole time.
On that right lane.
That ball just did, it just did the right thing. You can see I'm kind of not staying in my shots very well, and that's because I was trying to throw it pretty hard. And at the time, if you guys remember, I was actually throwing 16 pounds. So when you have, a 100-pound body soaking wet, you gotta use some extra stuff to get that ball down the lane at a high rate of speed. So you'll see me falling off some shots. I guess I shouldn't say falling off shots. It's just more of not posting them as well as you would think.
And that 8 went a little late.
That one might have been just a little bit firm because of my shot previous on that lane where it overhooked and left the 310. Even though it was a different ball, I think I might have moved a little bit left and threw it a little bit hard. So it's just when you come back to that lane, make the adjustment. And if I remember correctly, I think through the step ladder, that left lane was a little bit funky for me anyway. The right lane stayed pretty good the entire time. And that left lane, it was like if you got it up the lane at all, it wanted to just jump and overhook. And if you moved a little bit left and tried to open your angles, it did what you saw there, and just leaving weak 10s. So I knew I had to do something to kind of force the ball into the spot that I wanted on that lane.
Need some help.
You can see from that angle there.
And watching Shota's ball do that, I was like, wow, maybe this pair's gotten a little funky, and
That's something you see with the
Shota's ball reaction isn't what it has been
between the 4 and the 8 and
this
nothing
entire
to see
week we were there over the 32 games.
that. That's the power players 8 count right there. Sometimes players have the fast 8 when they're
And this spare right here, 4-8, it's not an easy spare.
that light 8.
I don't remember if Shota converts it or not, but it's definitely not easy. It's not easy to throw straight at, and it's not easy to hook at. Lane conditions here were, I would say, a little bit on the they were on the easier side during this event. Still yet, it's a tough spare to make. Me personally, I'm always going to shoot straight at it. I throw that little backup ball at my spares, and I believe that helps me at that particular one using that angle. But one to each their own. Shota chose to hook at it, and it worked. Another little a tidbit about this event, coming into the position round, I would think I was in 4th or 5th going in, and I actually ended up throwing the back 6, I believe, 5 or 6 strikes. I was bowling Sean Rash in that position round, and I had to throw the back 6. I believe it was Jason who finished 6th, and it was only by a margin of 10 or 15 pins, maybe not even that many.
Oh, that's gone and went for EJ.
Like I said, this right lane over here was it was really good for me throughout the whole step ladder. I don't know if I did miss on it. It was very few times. I think most of my misses came on the left lane. I do remember actually bowling the match against Sean. I needed to strike 9 in the 10th frame to win the match, and I struck the first shot, and I think it was on the left lane. I stone 8 on the second shot. You see my facial expression there. That ball didn't want to hook at all. Off my hand, I thought it was really good, and it just labored a little bit. So I would assume that my move off of that would just be bump a little bit to the right, maybe a board or half a board or something, and kind of like shove it up the lane a little bit and trying to force that hold that we had instead of throwing the ball away from the head pin so much. So it was move a little bit right probably, and maybe close down my angles a little bit. And we saw Shota's ball in the last shot on this lane kind of labor a little bit down lane, and it looked like he made an adjustment there, maybe moved one right or slowed his ball speed down or something, and his ball kind of did the same thing. It really labored down lane and didn't get through the pins very well and 7-10'd. And coming off my double and Shota leaving the 7-10 on a strike, that's a huge break for me in that situation. Like I said before, Shota was averaging 10 pins more than everybody. I think he averaged somewhere around 240 or 242 or something for this event. So now his max score is 236, and I'm thinking, well, we haven't seen this the entire time. Even if he strikes out, I can still miss technically twice and win this event as long as I have good count. And I guess the 2 lanes were opposite for Shota and I. He kept he kept striking on the left lane, and I was having troubles with it. And he was having troubles on the right lane, and I felt like that was my good lane.
But, you know, again, it's hard to tell because he's creating so much more angle than anybody.
So now getting up here, the 6th and 7th frame, after Shota throwing the 7-10, this is where you really want to take advantage of that bad break they had. Throw shots like that and apply all the pressure that you can to your opponent. Make them start thinking about what they need to do and what they can't do at this point in the match. If you get them thinking about other things than just throwing strikes, give yourself a better opportunity for them to maybe throw an errant shot. And that's why situations like this and points in matches like this are so pivotal and so important to throw strikes. And you can see there, I just tightened up my lines a little bit. I could have moved to board right. I really remember, but definitely for sure kept my ball closer to the head pin, and the angle out of my hand was a little bit straighter. And that's what I was talking about, using the hold that was built into the pattern instead of trying to use the hook on that particular lane. The other lane for me, I could miss it right and left. I had hold and hook. The left lane, I only had hold. I didn't have the hook. And as you saw from the 2 previous shots on that lane, where I left the weak 10 and got the swisher strike, both of those shots I got a little bit farther away from the head pin, and they just didn't, as we say, get up the hill.
Oh my, the 4th one today we've seen on that lane.
And Shota coming off the 7-10 on that lane, the 4-8 before where his ball was laboring, made a great adjustment. Whatever he did, threw an absolute perfect shot and got a terrible break. I mean, that is just awful. In a position where you know you have to throw strikes because your opponent is, and you throw a shot that good and you stone 8. I mean, it's gut-wrenching. But on the other side, for me, I'm thinking, wow, now he can only bowl 216. I basically just have to not open for the next 3 frames. So at this point, it's, it doesn't matter what Shota does to me. I'm just focused on, I know if I get up here in the 8th and 9th frame, no matter what he does, if I throw 2 strikes, this match is over at that point, because that would give me about 210 if I threw double gutters in the 10th frame. So if I know if I strike in the 8th and 9th, all I have to do in the 10th is just get pins, and I win the match.
Late fall to 10, but it's
good shot there from Shota, but again, like I just said, what Shota does at this point is irrelevant to me. I'm just going up there thinking, I throw 2 strikes,
that right lane,
I won this event.
Pocket 7-10 followed by the pocket 8-10.
Well, we said it at the beginning of the broadcast, it was going to come down to carry. This has been a high-scoring pattern all week.
Fortunately,
he didn't. His timing looked a little.
I think again, something happened. A noise happened in the crowd or something. Because I'm not the type to stop or balk like that.
My first box ever this week because I almost tripped over my feet.
I don't really get too in depth with, my steps. We see other guys on tour that will stop because maybe their step wasn't perfect. I definitely don't do that.
Plane ride back to Indiana. A bit easier
but
to take.
I was able to regroup and get up and throw a good shot.
And this one is almost officially in the bag.
Like I was talking about before, I got 1. I throw 1 more.
Here's a question for you.
1 more strike, and this match is over in my mind. And even though I have such a large lead at this point, I'm still thinking that
Tackett, 4 titles.
you have to perform still. You can't just get up here and just throw the ball down the lane. You still have to throw good shots, stay clean, so you can take the trophy home.
It could make voting.
And I knew right there.
Could it make the voting a little bit?
You can see.
You know,
I knew throwing that strike,
I know for myself
okay,
it doesn't.
we won this event now.
I think EJ's just put up the strongest.
Now I know that Shota can get up and strike out, and all I need is like 4 pins to win this event.
Yeah, it's easy to look at it that way, but no, it is.
And really, on this step ladder, it's the only time in my career that I've qualified
Is to put this out.
5th and climbed the ladder
You know, in 2015,
from that 5th position to win an event, which is pretty cool. And to do it in the fashion that I did, I think my low game was 230 or 240 or whatever it was. I think in the match against Jason Sterner. So it ended up being, I think I bowled around 1,000 or so for the 4 games in this step ladder to win. And bowled three 300 games during the event.
The night before I went to the World Series.
Throw the bag 6 or so to even make the step ladder, and then to perform at such a high level on the step ladder like
now
that.
The good break comes after the bad
It
break
was
on the match.
Go figure.
it's one of the cooler events that I've been able to win in my career because of the culmination of things, the up and down week. Because I felt like if I wasn't bowling 300, I was bowling 200, and bowling 200 in that event was not good at all. You were losing a lot of pins to everyone, because we did have the round robin match play, which we had 30 bonus pins every single game. So over 32 games, you had 960 bonus pins. So if you're not bowling good games and winning matches, you really had no chance
He's for real.
at this event.
Decided to take a few days and spend a couple tour events
And
in the States.
my hat's off to Shota. He's
Absolutely, it's been awesome to watch him.
Japan's greatest player right now, and to lead an event by that much and dominate a field for that many games and then not be able to win the event, I've been there, and it's not a good feeling. But that's the way our sport is. Sometimes you have to win the event twice to actually win it. But like I said, that's just the way it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't remembered that name yet, it's a good idea to do so.
So now it's just kind of like a victory lap for me. Get up there and just fill up the 10th frame and go collect the trophy.
$43,500 going back to Huntington, Indiana, with EJ Tackett, along with his 6th career PBA Tour title.
I will say the
the
crystal that we got for this event was very large. I would say probably 2.5 feet tall, maybe 2.5 feet, and it was all glass, a crystal. And taking pictures and signing autographs and stuff after the event, I was actually holding it with my right hand, and I actually had to take a break in the middle of doing the autographs and pictures and everything because it was so heavy.
It's the hottest man on the planet in the bowling world right now.
Maybe we'll get a sneak peek of it here in a second, possibly, maybe or maybe not. But yeah, it was a great event. Like I said, a lot of ups and downs in that one. 300 games, trying to tie a record, throwing some strikes to even make the TV show, and then performing such a high level on that show. It's probably overall, because I bowled so many games, and there we see the crystal there. It's pretty large and was very heavy. Like I said, to perform at such a high level and bowl that high of scores on a TV show is it's one I won't soon forget.